1919 at the age of 67. The range of his creative activities and the scope of his imagination was immense. A man who grasped perhaps a bigger picture than ever before, as well as painting them. But he also realised how little mankind knew of the world around him. And it's perhaps this intense self-awareness and thwarted ambition that are the real strength of Leonardo's genius.
How does a well-loved TV presenter pick up the pieces after a crash from hell?
His career could have been over.
How has he risen from the ashes whilst battling jealousy and addiction?
We just never know what's going on in someone's mind.
Will the perfect partnership survive the prying eyes of the press? The comeback of Ant McPartlin, Friday at 9 on Channel 5.
Sick, injured and orphaned animals get a little helping hand now here on Channel 5 in Wildlife SOS.
One of Britain's busiest wildlife rescue and rehabilitation centres is at Leatherhead in Surrey. Simon Cowell leads the team of volunteers.
At Wildlife Aid, during the course of a year, we see many different types of British wildlife. We receive a lot of patients brought in to us by members of the public, but we are often called out to rescue animals from all sorts of situations in the wild. In this episode, we see how the badly injured badger is progressing. The ducklings caught at the school are released. Donald the duck with the injured neck is making good progress. We see if the fox rescued from a garden is strong enough to survive. And we see some of the injuries that can be inflicted on hedgehogs by man. You may remember the fox that Malcolm rescued from a garden in the last episode. It had probably been hit by a car. It's been with us for several days now, but is sadly making no improvement at all. She looks so peaceful now, but she's got either irreparable brain disease or very serious ear infection. Christine and I have decided to save her any more suffering by putting her to sleep. We do this by administering a massive overdose of anaesthetic. She's in a terrible state. Although we will do everything we can for a wild animal, if it's going to be in pain or suffer such torment, it's not fair on the animal. This takes just a few minutes to take effect and means that she dies without any further suffering. Lovely condition.
She is. She's a nice spot.
Too much torment, sweet.
Her head's not working, I'm afraid.
Really quiet now, and she'll go to sleep at the right time. How many pain she does it, it's like drifting off into an anaesthetic, but not waking up from it. And physically, she was actually curable. She's got a touch of mange, and she, but nothing much. But obviously, the damage to the head when she was presumably hit by a car or something is so severe that she just was never going to recover from it. She's had all sorts of drugs to try and lessen the symptoms, but she's just going around in a sort of frenzied manner. She's just going to sleep now. She's just lying down. She's got much longer. It's quite a nice way to go because you just sort of
yes,
sleep
they just
quietly,
go to sleep, don't they?
She's actually going now. This is the duck we've christened Donald, who came to us after having been bitten on the neck.
I'll do this in a leg. I'll just get it ready first.
Louise is giving him antibiotics as part of his daily care.
If we just stand him up. This is antibiotic. As he had quite a severe wound, so he's had to be on this since. But he's getting a lot better.
Considering the wound was so severe, he's making remarkable progress.
So it's savaged by a dog, and he had to have most of his head stitched back on. This is Dermasol, which is going to help to heal the wounds, and also it removes the dead tissue so that tissue underneath comes through healthy. It's looking a lot better. I mean, it still looks pretty grim, but It's healing well. It's important. It's much better.
Joyce the vet will be coming to see him later, and with any luck, he'll be ready to be freed outside in a couple of weeks. All too often at the centre, we have to treat animals that have been deliberately injured by man. This hedgehog has been set alight and then thrown onto a garage roof.
They spotted him this morning and tried to reach him but couldn't, so we recommended to give you a call.
We just hope that smoke inhalation got him really. They've melted.
Yes, they're very brittle now, aren't they? They're just crumbling.
Kids, I suppose.
Well, that's really why I was looking, and there's a sort of grassy area behind the garage just to see if it had been done deliberately, and if it had lit a fire, but there was no evidence.
He's turned up in a trench.
Sometimes injuries are accidental, but nonetheless equally disturbing. This poor hedgehog had probably been caught in a strimmer.
And he was found in a trench, absolutely plastered in mud, and I've cleaned him up, and this is what I've found. And the left-hand side of his face appears to be as it should be. Oh, there's a tick.
I think it's worries, don't you?
The right-hand side of his face appears
like
to have gone.
It has, hasn't it? It's not new, this.
No, that's what I thought.
Poor little chap.
This poor animal's injuries are so severe that Christine has no choice but to put him to sleep.
Looking for somewhere to live.
Yes, I know.
I don't think it can have been the JCB that did that, because you say it was only in there. It was yesterday.
Strimmers, he's been strimming.
No, he isn't. Well, I don't know what he's done in there.
Strimmers
It could have done, couldn't it?
just trim their faces off. We have them in a lot from being trimmed. I'll have to put them to sleep, I'm afraid. The only thing really that's fair.
Linda, one of our vets, is doing her rounds.
This is the little duckling we looked at last week that wasn't able to walk, and all these feathers were falling out, and it pecked us to pieces then. But as you can see, he can yeah, he can actually walk now. Come on. And the left leg seemed to be the worst one, and that was the one that you noticed that the joint was actually swollen on, wasn't it? Come on, go for a walk, go on, go for a walk. Don't go underneath the hedgehog cages there. He's a bit, he's a bit waddly, isn't he? But I suppose he's a dog. He looks an awful lot better. I mean, his legs were just completely floppy, and his feathers were all really scruffy. Don't you peck my hands now. Peck Louise, she doesn't mind. That's it. That's the right one. He didn't pull his feet back at all last week. His legs were really floppy. I think it has just been a septicemia, and that's why that's a generalised infection, and that's why that joint is much livelier. I think what we should probably do is pop him in some water and see if he's actually swimming, as I haven't seen him for a week. Mixing some warm and cold in here, because as he's been kept inside, the water outside is absolutely, well, it's not frozen, but it's certainly not very warm. There. Well, last week, just don't come jumping out all over everything. Last week he just sort of floated around, and he was kind of low in the water. Now it's don't drink too much tap water. This left foot actually looks a little bit deformed, and I see that he's missing 2 of his nails. I think we're probably safe enough now, since he is so strong on his feet, to actually put him back in a pen where he can actually have a little pond and get him back in. He's going to sit down in the water now, aren't you? What are you doing? I mean, ideally, once his feathers are sort of back through fully, we want to try getting him out as well, because I mean, he's sort of nearly fully grown. He's just going to come leaping out of here in a minute, aren't you? And you'd rather have pond water than tap water, wouldn't you? That's great. you want to rescue him? You're good at avoiding getting pegged. I'm not brave enough. I think that's what it is.
Elsewhere at the centre, I've come to inspect the badger that was brought to us in the last episode. He was hit by a car, and we suspect that he has one dislocated shoulder and a broken leg. We sedated him a short time ago so that Rosie the vet could give him an examination.
You want him on there?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's put on some weight, Rosie, I'll tell you.
Oh gosh.
Oodles
So
of
you
weight.
have, haven't you?
I said I'm a very fat badger now.
It's still bending where it shouldn't bend. Here's his elbow.
Right.
Where it should bend. I don't think a pin's going to do it. We might have to do an external fixator job on that.
He's put on a little bit of muscle, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? Let's have a look at the other leg. That's the dislocated one.
Do you want to reverse the odometer on this or not?
Probably a good idea too.
That's still out, the shoulder?
Hold on, let's have a feel.
You want to do an X-ray, isn't it? It's not really worth it.
It really is worth it at this stage.
That backbone when he first came in was sticking out like a keel of a boat.
Okay, but we'll have a go at fixing that next week then.
Excellent. I'm
It's
sleeping like
snoring
a log.
away.
He's really put on a lot of...
He has,
that was
hasn't he? Yeah.
thin and bone when he came
He
in.
was,
Skin and bone.
skin and bone.
Nice bit of muscle around there now.
Yeah, a lot better.
Amazingly, if you see him walking
Yeah.
in there at night,
Yeah.
both legs are working fine. I mean,
Are
it's
they?
staggering that he actually used
Yeah.
it. I mean, it just shows the stoicity of these things, doesn't it?
They're not painful anymore, so
Right.
no reason
That
why
youngish
shouldn't-
teeth, would you say, are they?
Shouldn't.
Middle-aged teeth. Look quite nice, those teeth,
Yeah,
don't they?
yes, I would say fairly young. Antecedent. Lovely, thank you.
Antecedent is the antidote for the sedation, which brings the animal back to full consciousness very quickly.
Yeah. Oh, he said I'm coming awake already.
He's put on a lot of
Thank
weight.
you. Another shot of Simon's bum. Oh, we'll get lots of shots of that.
Lots of shots of that.
We know it
Is he all right
intimately.
at that sort of angle? He's all right like that, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fine like that.
We're getting a lot of call-outs at the moment for injured foxes, collapsed foxes. I'm sure a lot of it is to do with the weather and the lack of water. Morning, you've got an injured fox in the garden.
Yes. He's next door, actually.
Is he? Next door?
Yeah.
Hot summers take their toll on all our wildlife. Apart from the damaging effects of dehydration, blowflies are far more prevalent and will settle very quickly on animals' wounds to lay their eggs, which within hours can turn into flesh-eating maggots.
Could you just bring me the cage down, madam, if that's possible? Sure. Thanks very much.
Unfortunately, this poor animal has already been attacked by flies.
Is it a cub? I wonder.
Yeah, it is a cub.
We've had the cubs in there as well. I didn't like to see.
Masses of flies around his bottom.
Oh, isn't it dreadful? Look, see, it's quickly been caught, hasn't he?
I thought it was being caught by a car.
Oh dear, I'm so glad I called you.
I'm not actually saying it's... Looking at him, it might not be the end of the world.
You've got him.
Come on, boy. Come on. Look at him. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Come on. You're eating. He's a good fella. Come on, come on. You're eating.
Come on, we're only trying to help you.
Come on, let foot in too. Put your tail in as well. That's a good boy. Right, well, we're getting back. I'm not... Normally when there's flies, it's sort of shows you you're coming to the end, but there's a bit of a chance with this one, so we'll certainly try. We'll certainly try.
Brand new Make It and Bake It is coming! So celebrate with all your favourite Nick Jr. friends every day from 7. There'll be brand new makes.
You're about to earn your wings.
Brand new bakes.
Please have your cookie cutters ready and prepare for bake-off. Wow.
And even some brand new adventures. Catch Make It and Bake It every day from 7, only on Nick Jr.
Meanwhile, back at the centre, a sparrowhawk has been brought to us by a teacher.
Well, I was in one of the classrooms and it decided to fly into one of the plate glass windows with a heck of a bang. I thought it was dead actually as it landed, but it seems to have come round. quite a lot since I picked it up.
Come on, don't shut your eyes.
You obviously don't
Louise
mind
checks for other damage.
Haven't been bitten yet.
You haven't been bitten yet? You nearly had a go at me.
I'm just going to give him something for shock. And that's all I can do really, he's just concussed. I'll just put him in a cage in the dark where it's quiet.
The bird's head is beginning to droop, which is not a good sign.
Is it a young one then, do you think? Is it?
I think so.
You don't think so?
You go into that cage I've prepared. No, we'll take him up to the second hospital. Give him here. Do you need anything? Yeah, if you come with me, and we'll put him in the X-ray room with the Kestrel.
Libby prepares a cage for him. The prospects do not look good for this poor bird.
Right, let's grab the duck.
Joyce the vet has come to see Donald the duck.
He goes flying in the water.
Come on, Donald, big good boy.
Says you brought that horrible woman who does nasty things to me.
Yes.
Oh, you got a little friend in here, haven't you?
Come on. There we are. Oopsie daisy. You're all wet.
Ugh. Scarring down here. All right, sweetheart. That's fine. All right. Can you stretch it for me? Good boy. Yes, I know. That's good, honey. There you are. Right, that's it. Don't need to see you anymore.
Oh, lovely. Can you stay up here now, then?
You can
for a
stay
while?
up here, yep. Go on the big pond if they'll tolerate him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right, sweetheart.
It's wonderful to see this beautiful bird so full of character and nearly back to full health after such a dreadful injury. It gives us so much satisfaction to be able to heal and cure animals so that they can return to the wild to live out their lives as nature intended. And successful cases like these are a testimony to the hard work of all the helpers at the centre.
The other one, a half day. Since I got my little...
Louise is on hand to help me examine the fox that I rescued from the garden.
He's sort of nearish to a put down, but not quite that close, I don't think. Poor little chap. Calm down. Come on. Come on, sweetheart. Come on, move your nose. Come on. Come on. Alright, can you move the box, please, if you would? Got a nasty wound on the tail, but actually, although he had fly eggs all over there, the wound was horrendous. Had great, massive fly eggs just down there. It wasn't horrendous. And that's the bad wound. You got any more wounds there, or is it just fly eggs? Yeah.
Maggot infestation is truly horrendous, and within hours there can be literally thousands of maggots eating into the animal. This poor fox has maggots everywhere, and they have already burrowed deeply below the surface.
Poor foxy cub.
We can see from its skin colour that septicemia has already set in, and so we have no alternative but to put it to sleep.
Too many areas to have a fight with.
The sparrowhawk we saw earlier that had flown into a window has sadly died. Whilst he seemed to have no visible injuries, the impact and the concussion he sustained has been too much for him. John, one of our helpers, has been called out to rescue a deer that has been hit by a car.
Can you possibly pass me the blanket from the back of the van, please? What have we got? We've got an adult deer in there being hit by a car. It looks like the back end is pretty badly damaged. I think it might possibly be a back or a leg. So I'm going to try and get in and subdue it. And we'll worry about getting it out in a second.
In emergencies like this, speed is of the essence if we are to have a chance of treating the animal successfully.
Poor thing keeps getting itself tangled up. We'll try and get through this gap in the fence.
Back at the centre, Louise and John are working quickly to try to find out the extent of the deer's injuries.
Right, what injuries?
As far as we can ascertain, the back right-hand hip appears to be not, well, there doesn't appear to be much movement. Couldn't stand, but he did move one of the legs.
That feels okay.
Okay.
Oh, that all feels okay.
You want to try and roll him or?
I'll get Solomedrone in then. This is for an anti-shock treatment, Solomedrone.
Shock is often more of a killer than the injuries themselves, so one of the first things we always do is to administer drugs to try to reduce it.
The guy actually saw the woman, or the car hit it, caught it on the back end, but then just drove off.
We had to shave the hair on a limb to help expose a suitable vein to inject.
Of his head there, he's got the fur missing and a very small mark there.
Okay.
She's quite a size, I must admit.
Yeah.
It's a very big one.
Yes. You want 3 of us?
Once a preliminary examination is done, the next thing to do to help reduce shock is to put the animal in a dark, quiet place for 24 hours.
She's heavy, isn't she? She's a big one, to say the least.
So John and Libby carry the deer to one of our special deer sheds.
You all right? Oh dear, the head's out. Yeah.
The deer sheds contain heat lamps to maintain an even temperature for the animal. They are also equipped with closed-circuit television, which means we can monitor the animal without disturbing it.
At the moment we've given it anti-inflammatories and some drugs to calm it down, and we've now placed it into the deer pen where hopefully overnight it should start to recover. And as we actually left the deer, it was trying to stand up, so that's a very good sign. The head hadn't gone back, so we're keeping our fingers crossed on that one.
In the last episode, you may remember Susan and I trying to rescue some ducklings from an old playground at a school. They had probably been deserted by their mother when she realised they could not fly out of the area. We kept them at the centre for a week or so to make sure they were fit and well. And today, Jim is going to release them onto a local pond. Sometimes mother ducks actually do not make very good mothers. Whilst the process of natural selection and survival of the fittest often leaves weaker wild animals exposed to the mercy of predators or the ravages of the environment, mother ducks just seem to be plain selfish. They often lay their eggs in very strange places, with no thought of how the young will be able to reach the nearest water. Hopefully we've ensured the future welfare of these little ones by releasing them at this beautiful spot, where they'll find plenty of food and suitable nesting areas. We would come back every so often to check their welfare, but for now we would leave them to settle into their new home. In the next episode, we treat a goose that has flown straight through a shed window. We are called out to rescue a fox that has taken refuge in someone's garage. I'm called out to rescue a swan that has fallen from a weir onto concrete. Christine attempts to retrieve a fishing hook from a moorhen's throat.
They're the stations where every hour is rush hour.
Standing still is not a good option.
I just want to get home. I just want their train.
The trains are crammed full.
Penn Station never sleeps. World's busiest train stations continues next Monday at 9 on Channel 5. Also available on My 5.
Good morning, Milkshakers. It's Tuesday, the 9th of April. I'm Kemi, and you are watching Milkshake. Coming your way this morning, there's a brand new episode of Meet the Hedgehogs. But right now, it's time for you to meet Peppa Pig, and here she comes.
What did the traffic light say to the car?
Stop.
No, it said, don't look, I'm changing! Milkshake, sponsored by very.co.uk.
I'm Peppa Pig. This is my little brother George. This is Mummy Pig. And this is Daddy Pig. Peppa Pig. Stamps.
Peppa and George are at Granny and Grandpa Pig's house. Grandpa is showing Peppa and George his stamp collection.
I've collected hundreds of stamps from all over the world.
Grandpa, I think you must have every stamp ever.
Oh, I suppose I do have quite a few.
So there's no need for you to buy any more stamps, is there, Grandpa?
Here is Mr. Zebra, the postman.
It's the post.
Ah, it's a postcard from my friend.
What does it say?
It says, wish you were here.
I've never had a postcard.
That's easy to fix. Let's write one to you and George now. Then we can post it to you.
Oh, goody.
What shall we write on it?
Dear Peppa and George, wish you were here. Lots of love, Peppa and George.
Very good.
Let's post it.
Not yet, Peppa. We need to write where you live.
Do you know your address, Peppa?
The little house on the hill.
Very good.
Now can we post it?
There's still something missing. Do you know what it is?
It needs a kiss.
That's lovely. And we need a stamp, too.
Grandpa has stamps.
My stamps are not for licking and sticking on postcards, Peppa. They are for collecting and looking at.
Come on, Peppa and George. I think we'll find some normal stamps upstairs.
Who can that be? Special delivery. Ah, this could be... Yes, it's the rare stamp I sent off for. It's a big box for just a step. Did it cost a lot of money? Shh! Granny Pig doesn't need to know. Right you are.
There should be a stamp in this drawer.
No stamps, Granny.
We'll just have to carry on looking downstairs.
What a beautiful stamp. And in perfect condition. Never been used.
What's going on here?
Oh,
What's all this mess?
Oh, now I'll take it to the recycling.
Look, Granny, a stamp for our postcard.
Ah, good. I knew we'd find a stamp somewhere. George, would you like to lick it? Stick it on the postcard. Now it's time to post your postcard. Send it off, George.
Mr. Zebra has come to collect the post.
Did anyone see a stamp on the kitchen table?
Yes, Grandpa. We stuck it on our postcard.
Ah! My stamp! Stop! Stop! Come back! My stamp! Oh, my goodness! That stamp wasn't meant to be used.
Why not, Grandpa?
Well, it was a special stamp that I bought for my collection.
Oh, so how much did it cost?
Not much.
Ah, that's all right then. And anyway, it's not lost. The postcard is going to Pepper and George's house.
Oh, yes! I'll go straight there and wait for it to arrive. My stamp!